What is going on, Comic Book Familia? We have taken over Peter's channel. Yes, you're on Triple G's network, but myself and James T. Keegan have a special This Is Mine.
How's it going, YouTube? It's not Peter, your ginger geordie geek.
That's right. So we're going to bring him on now. When Peter first started this show, This Is My, I was fortunate enough to be the first guest on there. And I told him afterward, we have to do it on you. And he said, yeah, yes, we will. But he wanted to get some more people on before we did his. So without much further ado, here comes the main man himself.
What was that, Juicy Keegan?
My best attempts.
Was that,
I tried. I did.
This feels very weird. This feels very weird.
Actually, I was going to try to do that also. I was going to say, I've been hanging you too. This is a ginger geordie geek. I can't do it. So
that was tremendous effort. Tremendous.
Yeah. Welcome to the channel, Peter, by the way.
Welcome to your channel. Yeah.
So, looking forward to it. Yeah, should be interesting. I'm very nervous, and I don't know why. I do this all the bloody time, but it feels weird being a guest.
Because the control's been taken off you, I think. Like anything could happen. Yeah. Go wild.
Yeah. So before we get going, let's see who's checking us out so far. We got your buddy StreamYard.
Quack, quack.
We got Captain and Comics. Ahoy, mates and mermaids. I'm out sailing. See you all later. Smash that like button. Yes, of course. We got Ian Carter. And he says here, Peter must be doing his makeup. Yeah, it takes a while. Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
We got one of my favorite people. I mean, this guy is on everybody's shows, especially Peter's. We got Fuzzy Dunlop.
Fuzzy.
We got ABZ Comics. AO.
AO. Nice to see you.
We have Bat Dan.
Nice to see you, Bat Dan.
We have the original Big Dave. I'm not used to being a moderator. You can tell me. I'm not smooth like Peter. So evening peeps. Been a few weeks since got a live show, and good luck, Peter. We got
cheers, Dave. Looking forward to going out for a few drinks with you in a few weeks' time. Me, you, and James. It's going to be fun, Dave.
Yeah, it'll be good crack. I'm looking forward to it. Argue about Star Wars.
Yeah.
We got Sean Hogan. Hello.
Hi, Sean.
And we got Dead Man. He won my comic book. I sent him a comic book, one of those graded ones. So it should be coming in a couple of days.
Tremendous. Excellent win, that.
Yeah.
That's optimistic for UK to US to UK. I think.
And we have Perpetual Comics.
There's me. Absolutely did, Andy. Absolutely did, mate.
Yeah. Got people saying hi to each other. And I think we are caught up. We got one more. The original Big Dave bored Peter to death, though, through our passionate debate.
He'd be sculling tequilas at the bar anyway when we're doing this. So yeah, I had to imagine.
All right, so this is Peter's show, technically, but like I said, James and I, we took over for a very special This Is My. Are you guys ready to go?
Let's go. Let's do it.
All right. Yeah. Let me bring on the slides here. So this has been taken over by James and myself. Just want to throw that in there. Okay. And This Is My, featuring the one and only Triple G Comics. Thanks for doing this, Peter. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, no, I'm looking forward. It's gonna be fun. It does feel weird, but yeah, I feel like it's gonna be fun.
On this channel, you're a bit of a mystery for a lot of the viewers that tune in here every week. So yeah, I'd say interesting to get to know a bit about you. I think that'll be good.
Good stuff.
I can't say this now. Over a year ago, when Peter and I first went on each other's channels, we did like a version of This Is My. We asked each other like 10 questions. We just started talking about ourselves a little bit, but this is more in depth for sure. So before we go any further, let's check out some of these pictures of his personal life that Peter sent us.
Oh, I did. Yeah, that was on the slideshow. That was what I did for my daughter's birthday not too long ago. Yeah.
Oh, this wasn't meant to be.
Oh, what? You put it on the slide, so I figured you wanted it.
I saw it on there. I was curious. It just has a.
No, it was on the slides because it was on because I used Canva to pull this together. It's fine. It's me. That's my my little girl, my little boy, my wife, and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. So, but if you're embarrassed now, we got one more slide. Okay.
Let's get it over with.
Yeah, get it over with.
Happy birthday.
I'm not sure your kids are gonna like this. or not, you know. So
Yeah, well, that's absolutely fine. Very cool. That bottom thing
say that
is in Turkey. I don't know if any of you guys have been to Turkey,
no.
where you go into the
For
Turkish
chicken.
mud bath. Friggin' horrific. Honestly, stunk. Awful.
Was it a mud? What?
It's a mud bath you go in. That's why I
Right.
will look like I'm covered in crap.
I
But
thought just a normal Tuesday for you. Like,
it's awful. You cheeky
yeah,
bastard.
yeah.
It's awful. Yeah, absolutely awful.
Okay. I'll know to avoid mud baths in Turkey now, I guess.
Yeah. Fuzzy Dunlop says flawless start. Yep, flawless
Yeah.
start.
Yeah, in there. Right, Peter.
Yep.
A little bit of a backstory. I'd be interested to hear now. What who are you? Where are you from? What's got you here?
Yeah.
Okay. So I think everybody knows I'm a geordie, which basically, for those of you that aren't from England, means I live up in the northeast of England in Newcastle upon Tyne. Comic books, got into comic books probably when I was around about 6 or 7, I think. Started picking up some of the UK editions. I've got some of those to show you later on. Immediately fell in love with comic book characters, colourful backstories, all that kind of stuff. Back in the day, it was the TV shows of like Spider-Man. Don't know if you guys remember the original Spider-Man with the guy from Sound of Music, which was horrendous, but I enjoyed it back then. And cartoons and things like that. I'm very much an 80s cartoons kind of guy. So just fell in love with comics, and that I've collected on and off all my life ever since. Amassed quite a collection, sold the collection, and then not recently, maybe about 5 years ago, started buying again and going more into the collecting side of things, I guess. So yeah, just love comics. In my private life, married, 2 children, you've just seen them. Thomas and Jessica. Got a very close-knit family. Love going to the cinema, all that kind of stuff. I feel like I'm on a dating show. Love going to the cinema and all that kind of jazz. I work in the NHS. I'm a senior manager in the NHS, nurse by background. And that's me, really. YouTube, got into YouTube 2 years ago, I think it is, 2 or 3 years ago, at the kind of the advent of COVID, probably around the same time as you, Efrain, I think. I bumbled across YouTube and started watching Jason Parker, and thought, you know what, I could do that. I buy enough comics, I could sit and do that. So did my first couple of videos and just loved it. And then for me, the fuzzy, and then for me, the exciting part is being the live shows and interacting with other fans and things like that, and with our comic book fans, because I don't know what you guys are like, but when I was growing up, comic books were definitely not cool. You didn't talk about comics unless you were in kind of with a comic book crowd. Yeah. So I didn't talk, none of my mates like comic books, none of my kind of local mates like comic books. So YouTube gave us that outlet to talk to like-minded geeks like yourselves, which I absolutely love.
And so, like, prior to seeing Jason's channel, was it ever a thing you would consider doing, or thought you could do, or anything?
No. So again, I haven't got anything to show you, but I was a very, very shy kid. Fat, ginger, NHS glasses, so I wasn't exactly popular. And I joined something called the Air Training Corps, which is a air cadet military organisation in the UK, and that brought me out my shell. Progressed through that, got to a senior rank in that, became a squadron leader in the RAF, and because of that, I got very used to talking and presenting, I guess you would say. So I've always enjoyed that side of things. I did drama and things like that. But I'm going to be honest, James, I didn't even look at YouTube. I'm beyond YouTube. That's kind of a young person thing. So I think I was just bored flicking channels and stumbled across comic books and Jason, and then got hooked into it that way, really.
Nice. Yeah, Peter and I
met. Like, it's a certain skill that I think a lot of people. Sorry, Efrain, go on.
I was going to say, Peter and I met on YouTube on somebody else's channel, Rada Rican, and it was just by luck that we were on the channel at the same time, and that's how we began our friendship, and crossed over obviously to doing YouTube videos together. I
mean, you might say love at first sight, Efrain. Yeah, you might want to phrase it that way.
I didn't want to say that. I want to say, but I'm glad you did. Let's
Yeah.
check out some of the comments before we go forward. Got another one from Fuzzy. Was this pre or post war?
Pre, mate, pre. Yeah.
Perpetual Comics, Geordie Racer got me through primary school.
Yeah.
I got one here from Ian Carter. If it wasn't for Pete and all you guys on YouTube, I would have gone full shiny mode during the pandemic. Yeah. They're crazy times, you know. Glad you're enjoying our channels. I got one from Fuzzy. Ahoy, mate. It's not blind date. Okay, and we are all caught up with the comments so far. So the next segment, Peter, do you want to show something right now? Or should we just go on with the next question?
Yeah, we'll show something off. So I've brought my first ever comic book that I remember getting, and this is my original. So I remember I've kept this all my life. Got this in the 80s, and this is Superman. This is from the Health Education Council. And when you went to the GPs or the dentists, they handed these out. There's a big pile of them. And this is basically an anti-smoking campaign sponsored by the NHS. And I don't know why, but this is basically Superman fighting a character called Nicotine. So nicotine. And basically, I just fell in love with the medium of comics from this. It's something that I've kept all this time because it's just an interesting piece. Never seen it really knocking around. Not seen many people actually have these. But yeah, it's a really nice one. So that's the kind of the first comic I remember getting. And then the next comic is this. This is the UK version of Secret Wars. It comes with some transfers. Andy last week showed off some UK comics, and I've got some more to show. But this is my kind of my pride and joy. This is the first time I remember reading a kind of a Marvel comic book and just falling in love with it. These are very different to your comic books, Efrain. This is black and white with some color pages inside. It's got other stories and things as well, competitions and free gifts attached to the front of them and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, just absolutely love it. And these are what I kind of attribute to getting me into comic books and making us fall in love with the comic book medium in general.
Now I know you've said in the past that your dad collected comic books, correct? And
yeah.
You didn't get much into it?
My dad used to. So my dad sold all of his collection when he was a kid, really. But when I got comic books, I remember reading comics in bed to us, as a bedtime story kind of thing. Yeah. When I started picking up comics, I was mentioning this to Andy last week. There was a book shop not far from where my mum and dad worked, and they had boxes and boxes of old comic books, and you could get 5 comics for £1 or something like that. So I just picked up anything that stood out in the cover. You didn't know what the character was really, or I didn't know the continuity. It was just if it had a nice jump out cover, I bought it. And that's how I started getting more and more into the American style comic books, really.
Nice. We got a few more comments here. James got really emotional. He'll be back in a second, so he's got to compose himself. Yeah. Ian says, I had that Superman book too. Awesome. Yeah. And we have another one from Sean. I remember that smoking campaign. Yeah. And our last comment up to now is from Deadman. I remember that Superman book being advertised, but never owned one. Is it Neil Adams art?
Actually, do you know what? I don't know, mate. I don't know.
I was going to ask you the same thing. Do you know who the artist is? Doesn't say?
Doesn't say. No. Doesn't say.
And we have another comment from ABZ Comics. Secret Wars UK Weekly was one of my favorite reads as a teenager. Now, that Secret Wars book that you got, is it like word for word the same as the United States version of the comic book, or is it different somehow besides the cover?
I think it's pretty much the same. Sorry, mate, this is really interesting. The Superman book doesn't have anywhere on it who the artist or the writer or anything is, which is really interesting. The Secret Wars book, I tell you why I love it, and this might be why I originally fell in love with The Mighty Thor. So the comic itself is pretty much word for word. It's the standard Secret Wars story that you would have had in your American standard comics, but you also got some additional stories, and this was the one I loved. It's called The Secret Artist. So each issue starts with somebody in Marvel headquarters drawing a picture, and each issue is a different character. So the Secret Artist goes through here and he starts sketching Thor, and that's the image of Thor he comes out with in the end. So it's always kind of a Mickey take. The Spider-Man one was horrific, and the Captain America one was brilliant. But yeah, it's just a great series. And like most UK format comics, it comes with all kinds of free gifts and stickers and transfers and all that kind of jazz, which I absolutely love trying to collect and keep a hold of.
Stickers are always cool.
Yeah,
he's back. Let me bring him back up here. Oh, there you go.
I am a little framey, but we'll try and get through.
We'll have a couple more comments here. This is from the original Big Dave. Can't believe your first comic was Desperate Dan or Dennis the Menace.
Well, yeah, I mean they're UK comics, Efrain. I don't know if you've come across them. Probably a Beano, to be honest, Dave. But this is the one I remember kind of, and I must have, if I think back, this came out in 1980. For us to keep it all this time, it must have meant something to us back then. Do you know what I mean?
I'm surprised he didn't rip the cover off and stick it on the wall like back then.
Yeah. I wish I knew who drew it now. That's bugged us. I'll have to have a look.
ABC Comics says this is a complete reprint of
Secret Wars.
I got another comment. Peter's first comic was Etch and Stone.
Honestly, swear to God.
I got a message here from Ian Carter. Eric Gok, Bird, and Richard Williams were the artists. Okay.
Very cool.
All right, let's get going with
this. Is one I'm very curious about because I actually don't think I know this. What's your favorite film, Peter?
Nobody ever just gives one film on this show, so I'm not going to give one film. I'm going to give a couple.
Okay.
So if I was going for something that I've watched the most, the film I think I've probably had on repeat the most is a Jack Nicholson classic, and it's A Few Good Men.
Right.
Okay.
I absolutely love that movie. I love everything about it. I love the performances. The court scene at the end is some of the best written and acted dialogue I think you'll ever get in a movie. I just absolutely love everything about it. Me and my friend Lee, who's a pilot in the RAF, used to be able to act out that entire scene.
You can't handle the truth.
It's just for the performances are phenomenal, and I love Jack Nicholson and everything he does. I've been talking about that with somebody else earlier tonight. I think he's an absolute master. So yeah, it would definitely be, in terms of the film I've watched the most, it's A Few Good Men. The film I probably say I enjoy the most, if I'm in a bad mood and I want something to just switch my brain off and just have a laugh and a giggle, it's without doubt Mars Attacks. And again,
great.
It's just superb. I'm surprised you've not got one, Andy. So Mars Attacks, again, another Jack Nicholson movie. It's got everything you want in a movie. It's funny. It's got some stunning cast in it. It's just a really entertaining jaunt. Great special effects. Tom Jones is in it, for God's sake.
Wow.
It's one of my favorites. Horror movie. James, you should know this one. Again, the horror movie I've probably watched the most. And again, for me, favorite movies are the ones you can probably quote back. It's got to be the original Fright Night. Absolutely love Fright Night. Again, the whole Roddy McDowell scene in the house where he's a backspawn of Satan, and it's just absolutely phenomenal. It's amazing.
What about, obviously we're all comic book nerds. What's your favorite comic book movie?
What would you think? What would you guess?
I'd say Captain America, the Winter Soldier.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Batman.
That's my favorite.
Batman 89, yeah. I'm going to go, well, not earlier than 89. My favorite kind of superhero movie would either be The Rocketeer, because I love that film.
Right, that's good one. I've only watched that recently.
It's superb, great film. But probably for just sheer geeky enjoyment and action, I'd go a bit darker, and I would go, is he darker? Darkman, the original Darkman, Liam Neeson is superb.
That was a good movie. Yeah.
But no, I would go Blade 2. I love Blade 2 with a passion.
Right,
I think the
okay,
vampire creatures in
yeah,
it
for that,
are
yeah.
stunning.
Yeah.
I think Wesley Snipes is amazing. I think it's got some fuzzy straight there. Yeah, Blade 2, mate. It's got some hilarious lines. It's got everything you want in an action movie. I'd go 2 rather than 1 because I think 1 lets itself down at the end with some really dodgy special effects and things.
Yeah.
But
That's
2
fair.
is just phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal.
All right, let's catch up on the comments. I'm not used to catching up all the comments. When I'm on my channel, I get like about 2 or 3 comments, and then we're done. So, but hang on here.
We're in the big leagues now, Efrain. You know?
Yeah, I know.
With 24 people watching. Drop that like, guys. Don't forget.
Yeah, we have the original Big Dave. Imagine thinking back then Thor would turn into Love and Thunder.
Absolutely, mate. Absolutely.
We got one from Jason. Hey, folks, has Efrain had a haircut? Yeah, I cut my hair. So got another message from Fuzzy Dunlop. All Aaron Sorkin films are written tremendously.
Absolutely fuzzy.
You probably bought them all, you monster. I'm not sure which comment he's talking about. But
Secret Wars. You're probably
Secret
right,
Wars.
Andy.
Yeah.
You're probably right, man.
Jason's pick is Spawn.
Spawn. Wow, that's actually I've got something to show you about Spawn later on. But yeah, that wasn't as bad as people made it out to be. You know, the original Spawn movie. Have you seen that one?
Yes, when it first came out, I don't remember anything about it. You know,
I thought as a kid I liked it. I remember. I haven't watched it since.
I think Mars Attack was pretty much the first release, hit the mainstream DVD market.
Yeah,
a few people commenting Darkman they love.
Yeah, very cool film.
We got a Superman from Dead Man. A lot more people. Yeah. Got a message from Phil. Evening, chaps. Good to see Pete in the hot seat. Yeah, I talked to Peter when he first started his new show, and I go, we got to get you on here. And it took a while because he wanted to get used to it and have everybody else come on. But this is an ongoing series. Peter is still taking anybody that wants to come on Peter's channel to do.
How many have you done now, Peter?
Oh, maybe 15 or something.
15,
yeah, quite a few.
Very good.
Fussy.
Right,
Fizzy.
Peter, you got something to show us?
Yeah. Well, we'll stick with a nice, quick, easy one because we've been talking movies. I think Andy's probably got one of these. The kind of the light bulb moment for me as a young nerd geek, where, like I say, you couldn't talk about comic books because people mocked you and things like that. Was the Batman '89 movie, and that film came out and it just changed. You're allowed to talk about comics again. So this is again not my original copy, but I picked this one up. This is the Batman, the official book of the movie, with that stunning image of Michael Keaton on the front there. It's a hardback book. Look at that! Look at it!
Very nice.
Nice.
The story of the making of the movie. I remember begging my mum and dad to buy this for us when I was younger. And it was, I can't remember, it was about £5 or something, which felt like an awful lot of money for a comic book kind of thing back then.
Yeah, back
in
the
30s.
I'd imagine,
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I knew you see I got there before you. But they got us a copy of it, and it's just stunning. And then I lost it, sold it, whatever. So when I got back into collecting, I had to pick this up, and it goes all in depth into the movie, and it's just a great book. If I ever got to meet any of the cast, this is something I would definitely be getting them to sign because I love this book.
Very cool.
And again, phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal movie. One of my all-time favorites.
Very good.
Check out a couple more comments before we go any further. Good God, I just noticed Ephraim's hair. I'm not okay with this. And sold a lot of Commodore Amigas, that movie with the Batman pack.
Yeah. I had that. In fact, I think that's probably why I got the Commodore Amiga. Yeah.
We got Jack Rollins. Thanks for showing up. This is Peter's. He's a guest on his channel. Probably the first and only time he'll be a guest on his own channel. So, we got a question here from Pat Bear. Where did you get all those wonderful toys?
You've got to say it as Jack Nicholson. Because that's quote from the movie, isn't it? Yeah, very cool.
All right, Peter, claim to fame. So and again, not something I don't know that much about, like any celebrities. Have you ever been on television? Any kind of juicy stories you have to tell us?
I've probably told some. I've got, I guess, 3, 2 of which will probably mean nothing to most people. In the Northeast, there's a very famous radio presenter called Alan Robson who does a show, or did a show, and he used to do a TV show. So I was in the audience for that, and he asked us a question once. So that was a long time ago. Again, most people probably won't know Timmy Mallet from Wackaday back in the day, an old cartoon, an old kind of Saturday morning TV show. I once won tickets to go and see Wackaday and to go down to London Zoo, and my mother took us. And again, on that trip was the first time I bought a Secret Wars action figure, actually. But Timmy Mallet was ignoring her and wouldn't talk to her, and he was stood on a stage in front of her. So my mother on live TV nipped his arse and made him spin around. So that was humiliating beyond belief.
Oh my God.
Probably my favourite one that I've talked about before is when I was probably around about 17 or something like that. I went to a convention in Blackpool, and it was a Star Trek convention. My family lived down in St. Anne's, so we were supposed to be heading home that night, but we decided, because I had a cinema room and you could watch Star Trek all night long, decided to stay at the hotel and watch Star Trek instead. And we ended up wandering down to the bar, and we got served at the bar, which was tremendous. And then Dwight Schultz, who was Lieutenant Barclay in Star Trek, but probably more famous for being Howlin' Mad Murdoch in the A-Team, the original A-Team TV series.
Yeah.
He was a guest there, and he was in the bar drinking by himself. So he ended up getting myself and my mate rather drunk, sitting just knocking back whatever the hell we were drinking. I don't even know what we were drinking. But that was quite an interesting experience with a Hollywood A-lister kind of thing. Yeah. Very cool.
I love that. Like, not just a little say hi kind of thing, but like an actual, like, you sat and had hours, I assume, together. Yeah. Like that's incredible. Yeah. You will meet a lot of people, not a lot of people necessarily, but you met a few people through your work though, haven't you? Like, I kind of thank you fundraisers.
Yeah.
Like that, haven't you?
Yeah, so I hadn't even appreciated this, and I've forgotten her name. Helen Carter Bohm.
Nice, Helena Bonham Carter,
yeah. She is a distant relative or some kind of blood relative of Florence Nightingale. So She supports the Florence Nightingale Foundation, of which I'm an alumni, a graduate from one of their leadership programs. And she was at an event I was at last year. So that was nice. And I can't remember what the comedian's name is. I just remember him from, if anybody watches Alan Partridge, there's an episode with a guy who he shouts at all the time, shouting, Dan, because he's obsessed with him. Can't remember the actor's name. But anyway, I met him at a fundraising do as well. So that was quite nice.
Oh, very cool. Yeah. Awesome. Right, Peter, anything else to show?
Right, next, we'll go to my other big passion, which is action figures. So do you want to drop the slides?
I made that big. Sorry, there you go. My bad.
That wasn't me.
My screen is a few seconds behind, and I didn't cop it. My apologies.
So what I'm going to do is one of my big hobbies, one of the things that got us into action figures was at some point in my life, probably as a midlife crisis, I decided I wanted to go back and recollect. No, I didn't, mate. I've delivered lots of other people's children, but I'm not delivering my own. So I decided I wanted to go back and repurchase a lot of action figures from cartoons and things that I had in the past. You all know that I collect He-Man, Thundercats, Turtles, that kind of stuff. But I'll show you some other figures now that I've got. And I want to see if you know what they are. So if anybody in the chat knows what they are, jump out as well. But if you guys know what they are, these are some of my favorites. So these guys, this chap is called Whittaquick.
Was it a comic? Was it a TV show or just
cartoon and a Marvel comic? Okay. Look at that, man! Look at the holograms.
Visionaries? No.
Yes, well done.
Yeah,
James.
Got it.
Visionaries. So I collected him. He's my favorite. This one's a nice, easy one. You should know this. But this is an original figure, very hard to get a hold of.
G.I. Joe.
Yep, to G.I. Joe, one of the most famous characters.
Snake Eyes.
Yeah, Snake Eyes. Really hard figure to get because his groin snaps, as you can see. He's missing his groin. Comes with Timberwolf, so I've got his Timberwolf as well. But yeah, very, very cool. I like that one. This is a nice, easy one. But these were cool figures as well.
Looks like Doctor Doom to me, but I assume
Yeah,
it's
It is
not.
Dr. Doom.
No, it is Doctor
It
Doom
is? Okay.
from the Secret Wars toys, the Secret Wars action figure line and comic, created purely to sell toys for kids, and it worked because it got me into toys.
I didn't know he
Um,
used a rifle in it in Secret Wars. I remember.
Honestly, the figures make no sense at all.
Yeah.
The madness, absolute
Yeah.
madness. This is a nice one. Oh, I like it. Sexy.
Transformers?
It is a Transformer, but you know who?
Oh, fuck knows who. I don't know. It's not Optimus
Hot
and
Rod.
Bumblebee.
It's Hot
Oh,
Rod.
okay.
Look at his little head down there. Yeah, that's Hot Rod. This one is a favorite of mine. Love these figures. Interested to know if anybody in the chat knows who this is.
It's on the tip of my tongue. I do know this character. It's escaping me.
Space Rangers? I have
No.
no idea.
Eyes of the Hawk. Speed of the Puma. Brave,
Brave Star?
Star. Yeah,
Yeah.
Brave Star. Well done.
I won't take
Some of the
credit.
guys in the
Fuzzy-
chat got
Fuzzy
it.
that one.
Fuzzy.
Yep.
Yeah. Brave Star. Tremendous figures. Really, really cool to get a hold of those ones. I like them. Two more, and then we'll move on. One of my favorites. These are very cool. So these are, again, holograms. You might not see his face there, but he's a snake. And
Nice.
his chest comes open. Oh. So these were very cool.
Just looks black here.
Yeah, it's not
Can't see any of it, yeah.
It's not. Fuzzy's there again. See, Fuzzy's on the ball tonight. Like
Supernaturals, not the supernatural I like. Unfortunately,
Supernaturals. Yeah, they were tremendous figures back in the day. Last one is probably my favorite cartoon and comic that I think they've done nothing with since, and it's a crime that they haven't done more with them. But these were expensive figures back in the day. They're very hard to get a hold of now, but they are amazing figures. And you can get, I've got the main bad guy, and I've got the three heroes. So I've got this version, the land version, and the sea version. But this is my favorite, Ace McCloud. It's from the Centurions. You guys familiar with these?
Nope.
I've heard of Centurions. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah,
I've
so these
never-
guys were really cool. They've got basically all of the weapons and things are modular, so they clip on and bolt onto the holes in them. And the idea was that you've got sea, air, and land, and the satellite beams down the weapon systems onto the bodies. But yeah, very cool figures.
Nice.
Right,
So yeah,
Just on-
there's some of my original toys.
just on the topic of the kind of 80s cartoons, like a lot of these now, again, I wasn't alive back when these were airing, but they played like on UK televisions regularly, like all of these shows, or were they things kind of had to get on video later on?
No. So most of them played on TV. The Visionaries, I remember getting as an old videotape for Christmas one year, and the cardboard kind of packet and stuff like that. But no, most of them all aired on TV or on Saturday mornings and things like that.
I was
Did
just
you have
going
like
to
a
ask
little
you.
Visionaries t-shirts and like pajamas
Yeah,
and stuff like that?
I've got a Visionaries t-shirt now, James.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've got a Whittaker quick one. Yeah.
I was just going to ask you about Saturday morning cartoons. That was a staple in my life. I mean, it's something that's a bygone era. But Saturday mornings, just waking up to watch cartoons, it was like a big part of my childhood.
Oh yeah,
Remember
absolutely, Efrain.
Yeah.
Absolutely, same for us, really.
For me, it was like Spider-Man, the animated series, and X-Men, the animated series, like on Fox
Yeah.
Kids, I think it was playing on
Yeah.
at the time.
Yeah.
So that was what I lived for.
Well, before we go any further, let's catch up with some of the comments here. Ian Carter says he met Marina Sirtis from Gen Reason. That's awesome.
Yeah. Donna Troy. Yeah. Not Donna Troy. Councillor Troy. Very cool.
And everybody else is just saying, well, this one from Perpetual Comics. Can we get Peter to lift his slads and jerk collar up for the rest of the show?
Sounds
Just
dirty.
Because you asked nicely, Andy. Do you know what I mean? I'll do anything for Andy.
Sure.
Yeah, anything Andy needs.
Yeah.
Does that do it for you, Andy? Is that doing you? Is that nice?
This is a safe for work show, Pete. Put that away. Super Friends on a Saturday morning.
Battle of the Planets, Batman,
Battle
all
of the
great
Planets,
shows.
Yeah.
We got a question here from Padbird J. Do you have the Centurions comics from DC?
I do, mate. Yeah, I do.
Right.
I do. What I also went back and did a good while ago was I wanted my theory was I wanted the first action figure from the line, or my favorite action figure from the line. I wanted the American comic, and I wanted the UK comic. So I think I've pretty much got all of that now.
If you could have any of these like back now as like a $1 billion franchise, which would you pick?
None of the ones I've just shown you.
No.
So I would immediately go for. I didn't bring one because I've shown them before, but there's an amazing series called Mask. Mobile Armored Strike Command. It doesn't make sense. Command doesn't begin with a K, but it's an American cartoon. So there you go. But yeah, so Mask straight away. And that would fit perfectly well with where the Transformer universe is going.
Well, that's the plan. Hasbro, isn't it? They're planning on doing that at some point.
Crossover, G.I. Joe, get them in the Mask vehicles, fighting Transformers. Jobs are good. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
Got a comment here from the original Big Dave. The way TV is now has destroyed kids' experiences of the Saturday morning TV we had. Yeah, that's a bygone era.
Yeah.
Hey, just scroll on Netflix to find something for an hour. Like that's it.
Got another message here from Fuzzy. Andy, weird collar fetishisms isn't something I expected tonight.
Lost Cities of Gold.
With the golden.
Never heard that one.
Yes. D'Artagnan and the Three Musketeers. Oh, you must have seen that one. All for one and one for all. Tremendous. See, you've never lived, James. You've never lived, man.
No, I watched good entertainment.
How dare you?
None of these shows have held up. Like, if you try and watch any of these now, no, thank you. Yeah, right. Favorite YouTuber now, not necessarily. Obviously, we don't want to play favorites here.
Yeah.
So not one of us or someone in the kind of YouTube community. But like, who do you want? If you're kind of at home, you have a half an hour spare, you're on the phone, or you just woke up, you're having your coffee, scrolling on YouTube. Who'd you be watching?
Quite honestly, it's just you guys, and it's the Jason Parkers, it's Killer Comic Show, the Nerd Herd, bless them before they disappeared, JP Van, all of those people. I don't really watch many other channels outside of the people I know. I do watch what do you call them? I watch more on Facebook at the moment. There's I'm gonna have to find it. Hang on. Because it is feckin' phenomenal. So Charlie from the Killer Comic Show has got me into this new guy, the wisdom and filth of Leo Chip. So basically, this is a guy who puts a filter on his face so he looks older than he is, and he does this incredible voice, and he basically does this food challenges. So he does a one chip challenge and things like that.
Right.
Honestly, just do yourselves a favor, guys. Go and Google the wisdom and filth of Lee L. O. Chip and look at his one chip challenge, because it is one of the funniest things I've ever seen. It's stunning.
There's a lot of kind of you wouldn't necessarily think of as like YouTubers that do just like those kind of small, like they're more designed for shorts. Like there's this guy Max something, and he kind of does weird stuff. Like he put a sign up like over Liverpool that said "Welcome to Manchester" or something like that, to like for people on planes that were coming in would see it and stuff. Like he does stuff like that. I love it.
I like stuff like that. I like silly stuff. My whole, I've said this to you guys before, my whole purpose of going on YouTube and stuff like that is to quite often switch off from, I've got a very, believe it or not, I've got a quite a demanding job in terms of stresses and pressures and things like that. I run a hospital, so if I'm doing stuff for downtime, I need stuff that just is switch your brain off, easy to just watch, and I haven't got to stress and worry about it. YouTube is my way of decompressing, really, I would say. So it's got to be funny and enjoyable.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
I don't watch educational shit. Do you know what I mean? I'm not into that. I'm not into a lecture about stuff. I'm not interested in that kind of crap. I just want something that's going to make us laugh and go hee hee boobies or something like that.
It's so easy now to just scroll, like especially with like YouTube Shorts or TikTok, to just spend hours like scrolling, and you like an hour later you go, what did I watch in the last hour? You just forget. Like it's just sort of time just disappearing on you. A few comments here. Fuzzy, I resent this because he was going to pick one of us. So how dare you? This is me.
I tell you what else I do watch. two things I do watch, and I watch it not that I choose to watch it, but I watch it because my son is obsessed with it. So I did a thing, which is an Australian channel, which is hilarious, about a guy who just builds mad stuff. Like he was doing a boxing match, so he made a boxing glove that shot off and hit people and things like that.
Yeah.
He's hilarious. So I like that. And I like another Australian one called, is it Cold Ones? Which is just two mental people drinking and doing drinking challenges and things. It's
Is it
crazy.
like a play on Hot Ones, I assume?
Yeah.
Yeah. There's like stupid ones that I love. Like there's a guy who he'd have like a crisp packet and a water gun, and he shoots people with water, and like it
Yeah, I've
doesn't
seen
look like
those.
he has one. Yeah, I love that. Like Jason Fuzzy has highlighted one there that I also like. The guy that just cuts people's grass for free. Or like people who like go and like
I've seen them.
people's haircuts and stuff like it's
Yeah.
I love that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I just find that kind of nice, you know. Yeah, the Perpetual Comics thought you'd pick Simon.
Yeah,
Comic Flag
I
Simon,
did.
of course. That's
I
the
did,
obvious
yeah.
answer there. Yeah. Anything else we got? Who's your least favorite YouTuber? Is there any you really don't like, Peter? Like
Couldn't possibly comment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like a Mr. Beast or someone, you know, like
No, not really. I don't. Do you know what it is? I honestly, I
don't watch them, so I don't care. Is it?
No, and I don't get into that kind of negative space.
Yeah,
There's people I wouldn't watch, I suppose, but
to James T. Fuzzy's real name. I don't know Fuzzy's real name. I don't
nobody
know if
does.
he's
It's a mystery.
He could be a
That is his real name, isn't it?
70-year-old Vietnamese man, for all I know. So that's the mystique that is Mr. Fuzzy Donald. Okay, Pete, what you got to show us next?
I'm just now picturing him as a Vietnamese. Oh my god! Right, okay. Let's go something special. This is, I think I've shown this before. You all know that in terms of superheroes, Thor is my favorite character. This was my 40th birthday present to myself. Bought it online on eBay when I was in Florida, or sat in bloody SeaWorld or whatever, and Lorna was shouting at us because I was on my phone. And it was because I was watching this on eBay. So this is a very cheap plastic Mjolnir, but it is obviously a signed Mjolnir. So it's signed by Stan Lee and it's signed by Chris Hemsworth. Both on authenticated signatures. All signed. It's got the Stan Lee hologram and it's got the PSA and all the rest of it. So yeah, absolutely love this. Well, I did love this until Chris Hemsworth did that god awful bloody last Thor movie. Now I want to scratch his friggin' name off.
No, come on, like it's he's the movie Thor, like that's an old school Mjolnir. Yeah, I think that's a very cool prop. If you're gonna go for like a prop signed, I think like a Thor Mjolnir makes the most sense.
Yeah,
you used to collect movie props and stuff, Peter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what I'm curious to hear about.
Yeah, I collect. Well, I got. Is it Superman 3? The one where Superman 2. Can't remember. The one with Richard Pryor. So I've got the some of the checks that they use. It's not me. It's not. You're right. Yeah, you're right. So I've got some of the checks that they used in that. I've got I just lots of bits and bobs. I haven't collected for a long time because I got into the negative mind space of starting to worry about what's genuine and what's not genuine. You know, how do you know that it's real, and how do you know it's not just something someone's picked up?
On that topic, because we've had Dr. Von Hoot Hoot in the house,
and with his bit of wood.
Well, that's the thing. He came on here. I don't know if you saw this episode, but he came on here and he showed. Well, I think if it's genuine, is an incredible thing to have.
Yeah.
But he said it's a piece of wood, and it came with a little cert, and it says that it's like a genuine piece from the cabin from Evil Dead.
Yeah. It still had the B&Q barcode on the back, so that was nice.
Yeah. But like, I mean, there is just absolutely no way to verify that that's actually true. So it's just, and it's his belief that it's true that makes it precious to him. And I think that's absolutely fine.
I thought for a second you were going to say that's a piece of wood from Noah's Ark or something. I was like, whoa.
No, I mean, may as well be. It's for horror fans, it is Noah's Ark. But like, I mean, I just think that's an incredible thing if it's real, but you just don't know. So like, I'm very. I don't like getting autographs bought really. Without meeting them, like I don't buy them, just things that are autographed unless the person's passed away. So I've like Stan Lee, I bought that.
So I've got some autographs to show you later on, and exactly that kind of topic.
Grant, right? Okay, we'll get there. Right. So, Peter, perfect day.
Ooh, perfect day is dead easy for me. It's because I think I've got to pretty much copy some of the other guys. It's doing out. So I don't want to leave the house. I just want to sit in a nice comfy chair and watch some good TV, a good movie or something. And then I want to maybe play a game with Thomas, my son, because he's banging to different board games and things at the moment. So we always have a bit of fun with that kind of stuff. I agree with him. And then I want to just read, some peaceful time to just crack on and do what I want. And then some very, very nice food, a nice plate of food. If you were to push us and say, go out somewhere, probably the most I've ever felt relaxed is in a place in Florida called Discovery Cove, which is you pay your money, you go in, you can eat and drink whatever you want because it's all free. And it's just this stunning kind of man-made beach water area. There's dolphins there. You can swim with the dolphins if you want. There's a rapids thing you can just bob along on. And then there's a stunning cold water fish area where you basically, again, just bob along. And there's all kinds of fish and sea animals in the water with you, and you're just swimming past them and stuff. And Phil, that's probably one of the most relaxed things I've ever done because you just switch off from the world. It's stunning. Oh, and tons of ice cream. A bucket of ice cream at one of the Florida parks. You literally get a pail of ice cream. It's phenomenal. Yeah.
I'll tell you really quick. I know it's not but one of my perfect days or a perfect segment for me, I'm not trying to be all, emotional, but it's hanging out with you guys. Once we get on YouTube and just start talking, even in the background before we come on and doing the videos, that's part of my perfect day. Just gotta say that.
Yeah,
absolutely.
I would echo that, Efrain. Yeah.
All of you guys have a lot of people that have this question on the show say things that I went and listed all my favorite things to do in a day, once in a lifetime things. A lot of people just say what you could do on a Saturday really if you just didn't have kids or something, yeah.
That's the key point there, mate.
Yeah,
Dr. Von Hoot, can I just jump in? Sorry, Dr. Von Hoot I'm taking over. I'm just highlighting the message there. Dr. Von Hoot, I've seen Jaws. Sounds like a nightmare waiting to happen. So, first time we went to Discovery Cove, my son Thomas had watched Jaws before we went on holiday. Don't know why, but we made him watch it. And at this water park part where you're swimming with the fish, and Phil, if he's in the comments, will comment, you go around a corner and then there's a shark tank, but it's got clear glass. So if you don't know it's there, it looks like the sharks are in the water with you. So we swam around with Thomas. He literally shit himself, I think, in the pool and climbed that would never go back in. It was great.
It's some sharks are mean looking bastards.
Yeah.
All jagged everywhere. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Amazing. Efrain, I know you just a quick pivot. I know you used to do diving and stuff. Do you ever come near a shark in the water?
No, I did scuba diving for about a year. I did nighttime scuba diving, and that scared the bejesus out of me because I was just saying, I did it, with a group of other people, but I was like, oh my God, if a shark comes up to me right now, that's it, I'm done. You can't see anything scuba diving. But I seen Jaws when it first came out, and I read the little message at the bottom of the poster. It said, they can come up to you basically 2 feet of water. They can come up to you in the ocean. I did not want to go into water for a couple of years after that movie came out.
Yeah, I'd imagine so. Yeah. Just on the topic of a perfect day, Fuzzy, always in with the great comments. Rub and tug, breakfast in bed, new pairs of socks, heaven.
Can't go wrong with that. Yeah.
Catching up with all the omnibuses. I would think.
I've got an entire bookshelf full of books to read.
Yeah. When you know what, it's the same thing where I have a mate who has hundreds of video games and he buys them all the time, and I'm like, when was the last time you played one of them? I don't know. So I'll play it eventually. I'll play it and then I'll sell it. I'm like, you're never even gonna play it in the first place. Or I asked him, could I buy one off him? And he said no because I want to play it. I said, you're not gonna play it. Rub and tug at the local Ennismans. Yeah, brilliant. Right, Pete, you got another thing to
next
show
item.
us?
I have to say I'm liking this. This is probably the new style choice. I like that.
Cool.
Okay, so you mentioned autographs there. probably one of the first things when I first discovered the wonders of eBay. The first thing I decided I wanted was as many superhero autographs as I could possibly get. So I scoured eBay and bought tons of them. Now, I haven't got a bloody clue if these are genuine, not genuine, or what. Some of them came with dodgy printed certificates and all the rest of it. So who knows? But I'll show you a quick few of them. So we've got there, what do you call him? Martin Sheen.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah, from the Spawn movie that someone mentioned earlier on. So that's quite nice. This one, I'd love to think this was real. Michael Keaton, Batman. I've got a Jack Nicholson Joker somewhere as well. I don't know what it is.
That'd be awesome. Yeah.
But that I hope is real. Oh, look at that! One of my favourites. Dean Cain, Superman.
Very nice. I would think that's real. He does enough conventions. Like, I don't think it's worth faking his one. Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah, so that's a very nice one. One of my first favourite Supermen, Tom Welling. And from Smallville. I don't know if you guys remember Smallville.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I remember. Somebody save
me. This is genuine because my friend got this at a convention he went to. This is the cast of Babylon 5.
Nice.
If anybody remembers Babylon 5. And superb series. Got into its stride in its second, third season. But stunning. Absolutely stunning. I don't think this is real, but I wish it was. Bit of Wesley Snipes action going on there.
Why don't you think it's real?
I don't know. Don't even know who he is. He's off Angel.
Yeah.
Right. Where'd you get that?
eBay. All of these were from eBay.
Why though?
Because I liked Angel. Frank, somebody. Robin.
Frank. Oh, Burt Ward, is that?
No,
it's a before
that's a serial Batman series, like from
that's like
40s or 50s.
The 40s serial one.
Yeah. Wow.
Jesus.
Hugh. Bit of Hugh.
Oh wow, nice.
Yeah. You say wow, James. Wow if they're real, but you know.
Well, do you ever think of getting these like sent in to check if they're real?
Nah. James
you can get them verified.
Cyclops.
You can get them verified. You know,
this one.
I
wish this one was real. If it's real, it's tremendous.
Nice, yeah. There we go.
I have a Linda Carter autograph.
It look like that.
Want me to go grab it real quick?
Let's do a little comparison. We'll investigate. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's some of my my signatures.
Very
like
cool.
I say, I haven't got a clue if they're real or not real or whatever.
Well, we've been to a few conventions together, and you're yet to like go up and meet. I guess is that just because there's not really anybody that you've cared to meet, or are you kind of not doing?
I've just lost the interest in them. I mean, they're in a, you know what I mean. I don't do anything with them really. So yeah, it doesn't really float my boat anymore. What's he saying?
If he doesn't show
my autograph from Thought Bubble, I'll riot.
Yeah. No Vader.
Yeah.
Right. Favorite hero. Now, I think it's pretty much on the screen already, just with your face plastered on him. So that's the obvious. Thor is the obvious. So give us like a minute on Thor, and then maybe outside of comics, your favorite kind of general hero character.
Thor, again, it comes back to this. I think a lot of my stuff, I was talking to, I think it was Fuzzy, I can't remember, I was talking to someone earlier about how, I'm a massive He-Man fan, but I probably couldn't tell you anything about what happened in the He-Man cartoons anymore. I'm just associate my love for it with how it made us feel back in the day, if that makes sense.
That's absolutely fair.
Yeah. So Thor, it's the first cartoon, and it was a horrific cartoon, but it's the first cartoon I remember my mum and dad kind of buying for us or renting or whatever. And it was this awful kind of
Marvel the 60s cartoon. One
across
where
the bridge of Asgard, and it's like stop motion kind of stuff.
Well, no, is this the one where they like literally scanned in
there's no animation
and then just move the mouths like
that kind of stuff.
God,
but I remember watching that and falling in love with, because I'm a massive mythology fan. I love that era. I love stories of knights of Asgard, of Camelot, all that kind of jazz. I enjoy. so that really kind of cemented. And then I remember first reading the Thor comics and just loving the speech pattern, the kind of the majesty of it. I've never been a religious person, but I enjoyed that kind of element of it. And then I just fell in love with him. And I've read his stories ongoing ever since. And he's just I think the aesthetic of him is very pleasing as well. I love the costume design. I love the red of the cape. He's just for me, he's just a superb character. When the first Marvel movie came out, I thought it was phenomenal. I know it wasn't everybody's cup of tea. I just thought they nailed the kind of the Asgardian regalness and all the rest of it. And then as the films went on, it just lessened and lessened and lessened to where it was just a joke for me. So that's Thor for us. Real life, excuse me for getting soppy for a second, but real life is without doubt my wife. What I think some of you probably know, but not everybody knows, is that in my private life, we've got some considerable mental health issues with someone who's very close to her, which accumulated and kind of built and ended up with suicide attempts, 3 or 4 of those. And my wife throughout it all has been an absolute rock. She's been fantastic, phenomenal. So yeah, my hero would be my wife without doubt. I got heavy.
Yeah. No, that's absolutely beautiful. I know that's a really horrendous thing for anyone to have to go through, So yeah, that's amazing. That's so sweet. Just back to movies for a sec. Then what about like action? Any action heroes like a John McClane or anyone like that you're kind of 80s action heroes?
Ooh, so I grew up in the heyday of your Arnie's, your Schwarzeneggers, your Van Dammes, Dolph Lundgrens, all those kind of things. I was always drawn to the martial art movies. Jackie Chan, the fact that the guy does a lot of his own special effects, all of his own bits and bobs like that. But somebody who I love a good hammer. The person that jumps out most to us, and because of his real life, is Christopher Reeve. And I think I loved him as Superman, and then he had that tragedy with the obviously the horse riding accident. But then his life after that, the perseverance, the fight, the work he continued to do for charity. I've read. I don't know if any of you guys have read his book, Still Me. It's phenomenal. It's an absolutely beautiful book. And linked to him, obviously, is Robin Williams, because Robin Williams. I don't know if you know this, James. Robin Williams in America, your healthcare is pretty expensive for that kind of a thing. Obviously, Robin Williams continued to support him financially and help him and all kinds of stuff, and kept him going for a long, long time. Yeah. There's a book published. It's not in. I can't remember which book it is, but there's a book published of all of the stupid and silly and funny notes that Robin Williams sent to Christopher Reeve to try and keep him chivied on and stuff like that. It's beautiful. Yeah,
that's lovely. It's really heartwarming. Yeah, amazing. I just have a look at any more comments. Nope. Okay, Peter, on to the next nerdy thing. Gives a look-see.
Okay, well, we'll keep it soppy shit, should we? We'll keep it soppy shit. Yeah. So I think anybody that knows me knows that I am soft as shit. I really am soft as anything. And because Andy's mentioned it, we'll show this now. I collect memories. I collect things that have meaning to us, and it can be little things that probably mean nothing to other people, but they mean a lot to me. So we've got my first visit to Thought Bubble. I got everybody to sign it. So there, Andy is Andy's signature. I got all of the kind of the YouTube crowd to sign bits and bobs. Now it's interesting because it's a blank cover. You give them a blank cover, say, please sign it. You'd expect them to know what to do. Most of them signed the backing board instead. Honestly. So a lot of them signed the backing board instead of signing the actual
that's funny. Comic. That's hilarious.
But yeah, so that means a lot to us. And like I say, it's meaningless to most people, but to me, it stands out. Obviously, this is my Star Wars Celebration lanyard. Purely, again, just because of the memories that brings to mind of the beautiful time we spent together, James.
Eating chicken naked on a bed.
Yeah.
Great.
There it is. This was a gift from you, James. Again, just means a lot to us.
Picked that up in Vegas in a very famous toy store, yeah.
from the good Dr. Hoot himself, Von Hoot, sent us this. Again, just an act of kindness, which I wasn't expecting. So yeah, it means a lot. And of course, Efrain sent us all kinds of good stuff, but this is sexy.
yeah.
I love that.
Wow.
Yeah. And I've had lots
Very
of other
nice.
bits and bobs, so apologies if I haven't mentioned stuff people sent, like Luke sent us some Star Trek figures. I've had numerous commissioned covers sent kindly, and he's sent us comic books, all kinds of stuff like that. So that kind of stuff, because I am an old fart, that kind of stuff means more to us than stuff you buy. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's
So,
sentimental. Yeah.
So I've got a lot of
That's,
stuff like that.
Peter, with all your toys and comic books that you have, do you have certain rooms in your house that you keep them in? You know, I'm single and my stuff is everywhere in my house, you know, but you have to keep them in certain areas. As the wife say, hey, too much?
Yeah. No, I'm very lucky. We've got a again, I'll get wrong for stretching. We've got a 5-bedroom house. Doesn't look 5 bedrooms, it's a small house. But what it's meant is that I can have 1 bedroom for myself. So that bedroom's been converted into my geek cave, and that's where all my geekiness goes. Yeah.
And then you have this closet that you film in.
Yeah.
This room is it's deceptively small. Like it is
tiny.
It's tiny. Like you can't even swing in it. Like yeah, I've this is such a great comment Andy mentioned when we all liked each other.
Actually, we didn't,
Most
Andy.
of us
We didn't.
Well,
You didn't, mate. That was 2001. Was it? Yeah, 2001. Pretty sure there was still war in the community at that point.
2021, you mean?
21.
Yeah, 2021.
Most, yeah. These comic YouTubers know nothing about comics. It's absolutely disgraceful. Yeah. Amazing. This one I'm very curious about now. And I'm sure you are as well. But tipping point, what really grinds your gears?
Yeah.
Peter, what just seething? What is it?
So, a couple of things. I'm with you, James. The older I get, the more irritated I get at the cinema.
Yeah.
And before the
Connie, I hope you're
start,
watching now, right?
Yeah, I can feel myself getting wound up about stuff like that. Big one for me, and I know it's my own problem, but I'm obsessive about timekeeping. I can't stand being late for anything. So that really pushes my buttons if I'm going somewhere and people aren't moving fast enough, or we're meant to do something at a certain time. I'm the kind of person that would rather be half an hour early than 1 minute late. Do you know what I mean? So if you're picking a bus or something like that, I'll get the bus 2 buses too early kind of thing.
Yeah,
you know, that's it's in my head. I know it is, but it's just something that winds us up.
No, you're absolutely right. Like, because my missus is terrible for. She lives like a 2-minute walk away from the bus, but I want to leave 10 minutes before the bus is due to arrive, and she wants to leave like 4 minutes before the bus is due to arrive, and I'm like, no. And she always texts me, "I missed the bus today. I had to get a taxi." I'm like, well, yeah. You know, if you just showed up a few minutes early, yeah.
And I think the thing that probably winds us up most, and it's more, it's not getting angry, it's more just a general disappointment, is the human race. It's people in general. You know, it's at times I think, God, I look at some of the elected officials we've got. I don't know if you guys have seen it in the news, but around where I live, I'm on Hadrian's Wall, not far from Hadrian's Wall. Do you remember that scene from the Robin Hood movie with Kevin Costner, where they walk on the wall and there's a beautiful tree in between, kind of a dip? Well, that tree's 300 years old. That tree's been cut down by some youths this weekend. So someone's just decided to chop the tree down. Stuff like that winds us up, I find, and I don't know why. It just general idiocy. I don't know if that's the right word, or idiocy, people's just lack of care and thought and compassion for people. You know, that winds us up. I get very frustrated with what I perceive as people's intolerance and judgment of others without fair kind of reason. That winds us up. Yeah. I sound like a grumpy old bastard, don't I?
No, I did see a video the other day of somebody at the Colosseum etching their name into a wall, and it's just like, man, this is like thousands of years old, and or like if you ever go on like a history tour and you see chewing gum around the place,
like,
markings on walls.
Oh yeah, litter. I mean,
like,
people
what?
chucking, driving behind a car and them chucking McDonald's litter out the car. And the kind of person that stops behind them and puts it back through the window. Fuzzy's just mentioning it was never a 16-year-old. That was the first kid they arrested. Now they've arrested a 56-year-old lumberjack, apparently, Fuzzy. It's just, it's horrific.
Why would they do that? They just...
No idea.
Grey Man summed it up perfectly. Lack of respect, twats. Yeah,
absolutely. Couldn't have put it better myself, mate. That's what winds us up. Yeah.
Peter's little powder keg tonight, isn't he? Absolutely.
It's all kicking off.
Right, on to the next thing. Let's blow us away this time, Pete. Let's have a look, see what you got.
Right. This is going old school, and I'm going a part of my collection. I'm trying to find things that you haven't seen. Do you know what I mean? Because I could show you.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
I could show you his hot toys and shit like that, but you've seen all that. So I'm going sticker albums, and I'm going to quickly whiz through a collection of sticker albums. Most of these are complete, but we've got the original Secret Wars Panini sticker album from back in the day. Like I say, most are complete. This is a sticker album of the. In fact, it doesn't follow the story. It's got some interesting bits and bobs in it. But yeah, so we've got Secret Wars.
Is that a UK version of the Secret Wars, or?
Yeah. So this is a UK issue sticker album, but you could get it all over the world.
Yeah.
Masters of the Universe. So good old He-Man. This was a really hard one to get. This is fallen to pieces, but again, this is complete. All the stickers in it, as you can see. Love that one. It's one of my favorites. Then we've got my absolute favorite. They're all my favorites. Thundercats. I remember buying these stickers when I was, just a wee nipper. Shinies, you got the poster in there as well. I was obsessed with this. This was the one that I remember most. Desperately going to the smell. Oh yeah, I like that, Fuzzy. I remember going to the newsagent and buying packets and packets of stickers and swapping them with your mates and stuff like that. Mask. That's that series I was talking about earlier. Again, all the shinies complete. Love that one. Bit of turtle action.
Nice.
Again, a nice one. Transformers. Again, complete. That's a nice album.
Wow, you have a lot.
Yeah. And Action Force, G.I. Joe. So, Efrain, back in the UK, we weren't allowed to call it G.I. Joe, so it was called Action Force for some reason. But same story, same characters and all the rest of it. Yeah. So that's my sticker albums.
Very good. Very cool. I was having a look at the comments. Everybody, the smell of a good sticker album. I was never really into them myself. I kind of, I know football stickers were really big in my kind of school, but I never really cared for football or stickers. So
yeah.
I
am not a football fan.
No. Favorite villain. I'm trying to think. I don't know if I know this one. I don't think I do. Favorite villain. So back in the day, and maybe he's not so much now because I think he's changed a lot, but back in the day, it was most definitely Apocalypse from X-Men. I just love everything about that character. I love the aesthetic of him. Massive fan of the kind of the Age of Apocalypse series. I thought that was phenomenal. There's a superb end scene in that with Magneto and Apocalypse. I've just always found him a really interesting villain. I think more recently they've changed him and he's kind of gone a bit, I don't know, a bit softer as it were. But yeah, the original Apocalypse was very cool. And I'm a sucker for the classics. Someone's mentioning Doctor Doom there. Yeah, I love Doctor Doom. Love some of the big classic DC villains. I love a bit of Lex Luthor. All that kind of stuff. Dave saying the Tory government there, absolutely, yeah, shower of bastards. But yeah, in terms of comic books, definitely they're some of my favorites. Right, and what about outside of comics? Any kind of classic horror villains or just general movie villains you're a big fan of?
Movie villains. Obviously the aliens from Mars Attacks, love them. You cannot beat, and going back to it, I know I'm a broken record, you cannot beat Jack Nicholson's performance as the Joker for me. I think he's absolutely sublime in that original 89 movie. in terms of in terms of more recent, more villains that have got a bit more depth rather than just kind of like a fist shaking villain. I think Ian McKell's performance as Magneto in the first few X-Men movies just plays with Patrick Stewart beautifully. The whole kind of, survivor of, the horrific Nazi atrocities and things like that. I think that's played out on screen phenomenally. So yeah, love that performance. And also Moriarty in some of the, the later Sherlock Holmes movies. I love the Guy Ritchie Sherlock Holmes movies.
Jared something. I am
he's amazing in that. Yeah,
I like him a lot. A few good comments there. Dr. Doom, right? No, you're a fan. You're a fan. I know you're a big Dr. Doom fan. Did you ever get that? Did you order that? The hot toy, not the hot toy, but the 1/6 figure.
No, it's terrific. No. I did order Magneto's helmet the other day.
Hasbro.
Don't know why. Yeah, don't know why. Don't know why I put that.
On the big day of the Tory government.
Absolutely.
This is my favorite one. That we have Fuzzy and Andy coming in at the same time. The YouTube monetization.
Absolutely, yeah.
One mind. There's also Michael Corleone. Yeah, I think
Peter, I thought you would say Ricardo Montalban in Khan, the second Star Trek movie.
Oh yeah,
that's a classic. Yeah. Very, very, very.
Again, probably one of my favorite Star Trek movies.
Yeah,
that's a good one. Right. What's up next? Because let's give us a little look.
Okay, again, something you've probably not seen. We'll blame Efrain because he's mentioned it, and I'll put you through a bit more of a test. We have got some of the first gifts my wife bought us. Star Trek, the USS Enterprise, and then you get these, which are phenomenal pocket watches, because one of the other things that I did collect was pocket watches. So these are from the Franklin Mint. And they open up and they've got an image of whatever starship in front. So this is obviously next generation, and that is the Enterprise NCC 1701D. Rather nice. Efrain, we'll test you. You know what this one is?
No idea.
It's the Borg.
Oh wow!
So
that is awesome.
Ship. Yeah. Like that one.
That's cool.
This one you'll get Efrain.
Oh yeah, Klingons.
Yeah, that's the Klingons and the Klingon warbird inside. Like I say, they're all gold plated.
Cool.
And then the last one is the original original series Star Trek. This is probably my favorite. I like the purples on that.
And they all work, right? They still work.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah.
I love just the noise of it clicking open and clicking close. It's very satisfying.
There are more in the series of watches, but they're the only ones I picked up. But yeah. So that's my Star Trek pocket watch collection.
Yeah, very good.
Nice.
Awesome, that's cool. I know Star Trek. Where did that kind of love stem to? Did you watch that like really young as a kid, the original series, or was it kind of the next generation or the later?
I used to stay at my grandparents every other weekend. And on a Sunday morning, you would have reruns of the original Star Trek, Land of the Lost, and the Time Tunnel, I think it was, really old kind of sci-fi shows. And I didn't love, but I enjoyed the sci-fi element. I've always been more into sci-fi than probably most other stuff. And then Next Generation came, and that just blew my mind. Rushed home Wednesdays, I think it was 6:00 on a Wednesday, rushed home to watch the new episodes, then bought the videos and all that kind of stuff. Absolutely loved the story. I like Star Wars. Star Trek for me, I always, because I am, as I've said multiple times, I'm soft as shit. Star Trek always appealed to me in terms of the sense of moral justice and the things Picard kind of would say and do were all about for the betterment of mankind, and there was morals to the so that's the kind of stuff I absolutely loved. Land of the Giants, that's right, Fuzzy. And I just fell in love with it from there, and I don't watch it as religiously as I used to anymore. Loved Picard. The last season of Picard was very, very good. But I'm a bit behind in the current series and things like that.
You got to watch Strange New Worlds. I keep on telling you about that Star Trek. It's really good.
It's the cartoon one, isn't it?
No, it's it's a show.
What was is it Lower Decks or something? Is the cartoon?
Lower Decks, isn't it? Lower Decks.
That's funny
Lower Decks.
too.
Heard great things about that. Yeah.
I've been watching Lower Decks. That's a funny show too.
So I feel like they just don't advertise this stuff. Like you hear whispers of them being Star Trek stuff on, but there's always a Star Trek thing on. You never really hear about it. Like where I guess Paramount is their own Star Trek. So
Paramount. Well, apparently they've come out and said that as soon as the writer's strike is finally finished, which it is now, hopefully, apparently the relaunch of Star Trek is their top priority. So that'll be interesting.
Like a proper big reboot. Yeah. Here we are, make Star Trek big. That'd be
which is slightly disappointing, actually, because the last few movies weren't too bad. The first two Abrams movies were pretty good.
Yeah,
I like them. I think all three are good. I think three is watch three again. It's like I think that's fairly underrated. But I love the first one. I remember sitting in the cinema before it started. Me and my friend forgot what we were going to see, and we were there. It's like Star Trek came up. We're like, fucking Star Trek. Why are we seeing Star Trek? And then we loved it. Like that was great. It was great fun. Just really well directed and really great cast in it. And
I remember going to the cinema to see Generations, and for me back then. That was kind of almost your end game level movie for a nerd. Do you know what I mean? Because it was the meeting of original series, Shatner and Picard, and I think there's a scene where Picard asks for his help and William Shatner says something like, who am I to deny the captain of the Enterprise? And that's your end game kind of Avengers Assemble moment for me. Yeah, it was it was super
exciting.
I nearly kicked off in the cinema because we literally sat down. I was hyper to watch it, and there was a lady 2 rows in front with a little kid, and she said, "Who's Captain Kirk?" And I thought, I'll kill you if you're going to talk all the way through this movie.
Yeah. It's like that's fair to be angry, but I remember seeing Solo at a midnight screening, and the girl right next to me, because it was a packed screening, the girl right next to me had the most annoying laugh I've ever heard, really loud, like that. And it's like, well, she's laughing. I can't say anything to her about it. You can't be angry at someone for how they laugh, yeah.
I think in the Picard series, the last season, if I remember correctly, they were in one of the episodes, they were in some type of museum or something, and they show the remnants of Kirk. They had him there. So
there was a tribble there. There was all kinds of stuff there.
Cool.
Favorite sidekick? Is this a new question? I don't remember this one coming up.
I put that in there for you. Favorite sidekick.
I misspelled favorite, Efrain.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking about superhero characters. The favorite sidekick, like Bucky or a Toro from the Human Torch. That type of character.
Okay, this is an easy one. Oh, is it an easy one? Because I've got 2 now. I'll go with my first one, which is Wally West.
I knew this was going to come up. I knew it was going to be sad, and I knew it was going to be Fuzzy.
Fuzzy's on fire. Yeah. Fuzzy's on fire. No, it's got to be Wally West. Back when he was Kid Flash, because he developed into my Flash. I far prefer that version of the Flash than Barry Allen. But yeah, so Wally West. A very close second, mind Efrain, I've got to say, is Nightwing. Well, Robin. And again, these are the characters that started as sidekicks, but then I like the arc where they've actually surpassed the original, because it's arguably, and he'll kick off if he's still in the chat, arguably Nightwing is now a stronger hero than Batman, I would say. And Wally West was a far better Flash than Barry Allen ever was. So I like that growth.
Maybe you can answer this question. Why is there 2 Wally West? They have the same name, right? The Wally West, and then the younger sidekick is called Wally 2, right?
So I've stopped reading.
Okay.
But I haven't read some of that for a while. It got very complicated. But they introduced Wally West in the TV show, and they did a bit of a race swap on him. And I don't know if that's then translated into the comics now as well.
It has.
But yeah, I'm a bit lost off with who's who. And I guess in New 52 they'd explain it away as different variants. Like that. Yeah.
Very good.
Cool.
Right. What else you got to show us, Pete?
I showed you that. I'm running out of stuff. Okay, we'll go.
There's a few extra questions we're throwing in there. So
Yeah, we'll go again just because Andy showed some last week and it made us jealous. I'm going to go with UK comics. So, Efrain, you won't have seen these, but these are our larger format comic books. If they come with so in the UK, Efrain, we have comics that come with special gifts. So I like to try and get them with gifts. So we've been talking about it. We've got Star Trek: The Next Generation there. Look at Picard there. I've never seen him as buff as that. Oh, Tasha, yeah. Look at Tasha. Bless her, dead. But this one comes with an iron-on insignia, Starfleet patch, and you've got good old Commander Data at the back there. So yeah, that's Star Trek: Next Generation. I like that one. This is an amazing series. Theme tune written by Stan Lee. This is Defenders of the Earth.
Defenders of the Earth.
Defenders. Out of the sky. No, we'll not do it. But this is Defenders of the Earth. Fantastic series. This is a property that could really do with being redeveloped. Flash Gordon and the Phantom, all those characters. And Lothar. So yeah, very, very cool. Zoids. Do you know if you guys are familiar with Zoids?
Yes, I've heard of Zoids.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. I like them as well. Another series which I absolutely love, Galaxy Rangers.
I think a couple of people mentioned. Oh, you showed a toy earlier of it, did you?
Yeah, no, that's a different series. That's Brave Star. Galaxy Rangers was a different kind of cyborg cops in the future. They were pretty cool. I liked them. Action Force, we've already mentioned. Masters of the Universe, He-Man. These are all the first issues. Thundercats with the hologram cover there. Rather nice. Turtles with a Turtles pin badge. Titles.
Nice.
So I like that one. Visionaries. Again with the hologram on the front. Supernaturals. You would like this one, James. This was like a horror comic back in the day. It's got some really creepy stories in, and there's a really cool story. I think it's called The Doll or something, which is basically a start off a Chucky. Really, it's about a possessed kid's toy that sits in his bedroom and things like that.
Right.
Very, very.
I'll look into that. Yeah, I like my spooky stuff, so yeah, I'd give that a go.
Good old Mask, and then we've got Transformers, and then this one someone asked about earlier on. Centurions, Power Extreme. That's the UK version. I've got the American version as well.
Yeah. So these are UK reprints of the American.
Not necessarily reprints. Some of them are original UK stories. We didn't always reprint the American stuff. Sometimes it was original stuff.
Right. Very, very interesting. Another question Efrain slipped in here. I think comic books are 1/6 figures.
We have to choose one. What would you pick as your favorite?
That's a bit of a nasty question, Efrain.
Fun. Let's say you could never sell because you have to take the money because your most valuable 1/6 is nowhere near as much as your most valuable comic. You would never pay the same for a comic as you would a 1/6 figure. So take the money out of it.
Taking the money out of it. Without the comics, I wouldn't be collecting 1/6 figures. I collect the figures because of my memories of the comics and whatnot, and I get more enjoyment from reading the comics. So I would bin 1/6 scale figures.
Yeah, you don't really play that much with your figures.
I don't know. I don't sit on a night time fighting with my toys.
And you go, honey, go over here and hold this character like this and pretend. Now, kids, you guys come in the opposite side.
You're giving us ideas now. I could do that. That would be fun. Yeah. Right. It would be my original passion is always going to be for comic books.
Yeah,
in stories.
And there's room for both, Efrain. Not everyone has to pick, you know? Yeah. No, that's absolutely fair. Dead man. My haircut's gone to his head. Very good. Right. Any other goodies to show us, Pete?
Show it. I mean, you have seen these before, but we could rattle through some CGC books, I suppose.
Nice.
We've seen some of these before, but so we've got Avengers #1.
Stan Lee signed, is it?
Signed by Stan. Where's Stan?
Very good.
Oh, there. Typical Stan signature. right over.
Oh,
the
he's
hole.
terrible for the signature placement,
Yeah,
isn't he? I've seen some horrendous ones. Like,
and this is a really rough book, as you can see. It's got damage on it and things like that. But it's a 1.0 and it's signed by Stan Lee, so I'm not going to grumble with that. Efrain's fave, I've got Daredevil number
Nice.
1, 3.5 with the label, the Daredevil label. Criminally undervalued book that you can still get that for a reasonable price.
Yeah.
Second appearance of the Hulk.
Ah,
Hulk 181, 3.5. Again, nice
need
book.
it.
Yeah.
Need to get it at some point.
Yeah. And that's a book that, you know, if you can get it, because it's investment wise, that's a good book to have. Giant Size X-Men, number 1, 5.5. First appearance of a whole host of characters, Colossus, Nightcrawler. Yeah, nice book. I like this one. One of my favorites. And then, of course, my big boys, my big two favorites, Journey into Mystery. This is the first appearance of Thor, 1.5. Stunning book.
Just so cool to be able to have like your favorite characters.
Yeah.
First appearance, you know, a Silver Age one. Like, that's fantastic.
And then good old X-Men number 1, 2.0.
Very good. Do you see an AF5 ever? Is that something you would kind of hope to get at some point down the road, or is it just never going to be a viable thing?
The price for an AF15 is mental.
Yeah.
It really is crazy. And I mean, not to cause war or anything like that. I know Spider-Man's the kind of the premier character. He's not my favorite character. Do you know what I mean? If I had a choice between a high grade X-Men 1 or a high grade first appearance of Thor, or the equivalent price of the AF15, I'd go for one of those ones because I've got more of a connection to them. That said, if I ever found myself with an awful lot of money that I wanted to invest in something, then an AF15 I think is a sound bet. I don't think AF15 is ever going to go away. It's always going to be a premier book for people to want. So yeah, if I was rich, obviously I'd have all the books, but it's not on my list of ones to desperately go for. It's priced out, James. The thing with a lot of these books now that I want, that I know Efrain wants, you know, first appearance of Hulk, first appearance of Iron Man, those kind of books, you're talking expensive, lots of money now, you know. Yeah. I'd like a Fantastic Four one. Yeah,
would you, nice. If you ever had a chance to get AF15, would it have to be graded? Because to me, if I bought a book that old, if it was, you know, say if you bought one that wasn't graded and you took it into CGC and it gave you like a purple label or something, I'd be pissed. You know, it's almost like you have to buy one that's graded. You know.
I think
1.0 or something graded. Like that's all you need.
I think it's an interesting question, Efrain, because I think when I'm buying it, if I knew it was restored or whatever, I probably wouldn't have a problem with buying a restored one. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think there's something different about buying something you think's not restored and then taking the hit, because for a book like that, you've lost a lot of money on that if it's restored. So that's a different matter, you know. I was panicking that my X-Men 1 was going to come back. Not because I would necessarily not want a restored book, but because in my head, the value of the book was based on it being unrestored.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to have to explain to my wife that we'd spent a lot of money on something that's not as valuable, you know?
Yeah.
Imagine. Yeah. Well, that's the, you know, I think a lot of comic book collecting is very akin to gambling. You know, it really does feel like it. Where you buy comics and you're counting on it getting this certain grade. You know, it's a roll of the dice, really. So, I think it's an interesting element of it. Hulk 1, passion wise, AF15. Yeah, that's fair. I think. For this is just a mean question to ask him. You're just trying to upset yourself.
An easy question. It's an easy question. It's Comrade Simon.
Of course.
Okay, guys.
How silly of me to think otherwise. Yeah.
James and I, we have to go now. Okay.
You finish this on your own.
On your own. I'm just messing with you, Peter. You know, I'm just jealous. You know.
Peter, we have a couple more questions left. So
you
how much
can tell me later.
Yeah. How much stuff have you got? Because we can rattle through a few of these and then go back to at the end.
Rattle through a few.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Favorite food or drink?
Oh God.
Tells me a lot about a person, so choose wisely.
That's a really hard one because you know what I'm like. I've sent you images of some of the stuff. I like nice standard, what I would class as humble food. You know, I love barbecue and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I'm also a proper
Mr. Fine Dining over here. Okay.
I need, you know, I like going to restaurants where it's stuff that I've maybe not tried before, and you know, I'm always hungry when I leave. But I quite like the fanciness of it all and stuff. But probably, I like so much. Probably barbecue type food. I like a nice brisket, or I love steak. I'm a big meat. I am a big meat eater.
Yeah, steak would be there for me. Steak, chips, pepper sauce. Do you have pepper sauce, or do you go for a barbecue with your steak?
No, I like a pepper sauce. I mean, this place I'm taking you to in a few weeks' time is a barbecue joint, and it slices all the meat in front of you, and it's stunning. So yeah, that's the kind of food I like.
Can't wait for that.
Drink mojito. I love a mojito. I'm a mojito man. Or I quite like a Long Island iced tea.
Yeah, Long Island iced tea is a good one. Yeah, Joe, I
like a Gatsby.
You drink whiskey sour?
Yeah.
I had a beautiful whiskey sour on the weekend. It was gorgeous. Yeah.
I like a Gatsby. I also love, as people will attest to from Thought Bubble, I love a shot, and I love a nice port. I like port.
Port? No, I don't think I've ever been in the mood. I've had one handed to me, but I've never asked for one, or
port's a military drink. You end every formal dinner with a glass of port.
Is that true? All right, is it okay?
I just got a taste. Yeah, I love port.
That's fascinating. Yeah, I didn't know that.
Favorite color next, or favorite?
Want to explain yourself here? Is this a placeholder? Is it?
It's a placeholder, yeah. So
okay, fair. Okay. We got a few questions, obviously, from the chat. Before we do this, Peter, is there any more stuff you have to show? You want to get through now?
No, because I only planned 10, but I've got that. That's the significance of this is the first hot toy I bought. So this was my entry into hot toys in the madness of 1/6 scale collection.
Yeah.
I bought this 2 years ago now, maybe, and just fell in love with it. I think the likeness of Chris Evans is absolutely spot on. Now, the interesting thing is, back when I bought this, I just absolutely fell in love with it. I thought it was the best thing I'd ever seen. Now, having bought a lot of hot toys, you go back and look at this and you think, actually, this isn't the best. The costume's really hard to move. The material doesn't feel right. It doesn't pose particularly well. The face sculpt is still pretty good, but it's not as good as some of the others I've seen. But yeah, this means a lot because this is the first one I ever picked up, and that led us down this horrendous path.
Yeah, that's fair. About 2 years it's been. I think we were doing our X-Men What If, I think, and we mentioned hot toys to you, and it led to this just madness. So a few questions from the chat. Luke, Hydra Collectibles, what is your favorite flavor of ice cream?
I like a toffee fudge, and I like a rum and raisin. But I'll eat any kind of ice cream. Cheesecake.
Fuck, Häagen-Dazs strawberry cheesecake is the best ice cream I've ever made, I think. Like, honestly, I'm a fan of the bubblegum ice cream.
No, it's dirty bastard. No, man.
I like
you don't want bubblegum flavor anything, man. That's just not right.
But just not like I wouldn't get sprinkles on it, and like it'd just be a bubblegum or bubblegum milkshake, But like no frost, no sprinkles, really. Like maybe
I've become distracted. I've become distracted by the chat. I do apologize. So original Big Dave. A little glass of port goes a long way. So I'll tell you a quick story.
Right.
Dave used to work in the same hospital as me, and he organized a function for some very highfalutin people at probably one of the poshest venues near to us. Okay. And we went, and a drug company basically gave us a free bar for the night, which is lethal. Nothing to do. He's a cardiology matron. I had nothing to do with cardiology because I'm his mate. He invited us, and we got a room for the night, 2 rooms for the night. And at the end of the night, I ordered a glass of port, and the man was delivering it behind me, and he managed to spill it, and it literally soaked about 4 guests. I think I was just literally drenched in bloody port from top to bottom. And then we had a dessert wine, which I don't think you've ever had a dessert wine.
I love an owl dessert. Yeah, iced wine.
Sadly, they'd they just renovated the rooms that we were staying in, and I managed to paint the entire bathroom and vomit. It was absolutely horrendous. It was a bad night, that one. But yeah, that was fun.
Yeah.
Got a couple more comments here. Nobody's
Pocket watch is important.
Pocket watch is important. Exactly what I expected from Peter.
I also
smoking
collect
jacket and
pens.
a cigar is all you need. Like,
I also collect pens, nice pens,
Yeah.
Mont Blancs. Yeah.
Fuzzy has a message here.
Raspberry Ripple base, too basic. No,
I like a Raspberry Ripple.
No. Wouldn't be. I love a cookie dough. Cookie dough's a good one as well. What about you, Efrain? What would you choose?
As far as ice cream?
Yeah.
Marble fudge. I just like the vanilla and a little piece of chocolate. You guys ever heard of marble fudge?
No,
Is that like a Ben and Jerry's or something? Is it flavor?
No, that look Peter just gave is like the same kind of look that I gave.
Heard of it? I don't know what it is though. Like
marble fudge is vanilla ice cream with like little pieces of not pieces, chunks, but chocolate in it. You know,
right.
Really
where would you get that? In like a Baskin Robbins or somewhere?
Anywhere in the United States, you know. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Interesting.
Send us a tub of it, would you?
Yeah.
Just about 10 freezer bags over, it'd be grand. Like, yeah. Pocket watches, ports, and rum and raisin ice cream. Wow. Is that American flavor or flavor, Luke? Yeah. Yeah, I always find it weird, the whole different spot. There was one I was looking up the other day. Can't remember what it was now, but it was like, it was aluminium and aluminum.
Flavored ice cream?
No, like different Americans spelling things differently to UK. So like we say aluminium and they say aluminum, and it's like, well, how's it spelt? And it's like it's spelled both ways, like with an I or without an I, for depending on if you're American. So like it's both are pronouncing right. Strange. A few other questions. Desired comics. What age and or genre of comics do you see value in right now in this market?
Oh dear me. Honestly, nothing new, nothing modern. I think if you're wanting to try and make money, you've got to stick with the blue chip. Blue chip being the kind of the original classic kind of books. Even trying to follow the trends of what's going to be hot in the MCU and stuff like that these days, I don't think you're going to get anywhere with them, because we're not seeing a sustained bump. The drop very quickly,
especially with the villains. You know, them come and go. Like everyone hypes up, and then it comes and goes. And like, you know, first Thanos is that expensive still now, is it? Like,
it's not bad. It's retained a little bit, but I think if you're looking for a long game in terms of the comic market, I don't know what Efrain thinks, but DC comics just don't seem to have hit a bump in price. So there's a lot of good key first appearance, not the originals, like not Barry Allen, Flash, and stuff like that, but like a lot of the newer characters, you know, you can still get them all very, very reasonable prices. So if you're in it for a long-term game, that might be a route to go down. If you can afford it, go for the big hitters. I think Nova's a pretty safe bet. You can get his first appearance pretty cheap. That's a decent one. But honestly, some of the big movies coming out, like Thunderbolts, I wouldn't bother trying. I
think if you want to make your money back, at least break even, it's Silver Age books.
Yeah,
you know you'll get something for them. And the Ultimate Fallout #4, the first Miles Morales.
Yeah, Miles is a fan base that's just growing and growing kind of as time goes on. So like, you know, they're not necessarily going to double, triple in a year or two, but like I think you're not going to lose money buying that.
I think it'll take a big jump when he comes into the MCU.
Live action, yeah, definitely. I think,
and Spider-Gwen too. You know, so that's another hot one. You know, for modern books.
And like that is one that I think at the time people were kind of looking down their nose and saying, "Wow, that why are you specking on this? Like it's going to be a 1 year done, one and done thing." And here we are. You know, she's getting her own. Probably going to have her own movie at some point and all that stuff. Yeah. And then this one is for me, Peter, because I'm very curious about this. Is there a video? What video you've made is your favorite, or is there one that you're particularly proud of, like you put a lot of work into and you were like really satisfied with at the end?
It's a hard one.
Yeah, it's a tough question.
Yeah. The one that jumps out in terms of the one I've enjoyed making the most and I enjoyed the final product was probably my oh god, what do you call it? The Addams Family song, that we did. We did the YouTube family. Yeah. I
Yeah, that was
really,
funny.
really enjoyed doing that. That was great fun. We got lots of people involved, and I think the music worked well. It was pretty crisp. I
I'm a
enjoyed
big
doing
fan of the Christmas song. Was pretty good as well. I
it.
think.
Yeah,
That was
Christmas
fun.
was good.
That's
Yeah.
all there's a good one. One thing about you, Peter, I always loved, and this is straight off. Like the first thing, we had done a show together. I think on someone else's channel, and you messaged about like what if, and you like pitched the idea, and I was like, that's really interesting. It's something different. Like not everyone's doing this. I feel like that's something you've kind of consistently done, is bring like new things and interesting things, forward.
Yeah, I appreciate you saying that, James, because I've purposefully tried. My videos are pretty much standard, bog standard, opening a box, look at what I've got kind of stuff. I'm trying to change it a little bit now, but my live shows, I've constantly tried to do different stuff. So we've got the what if, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I want to try and bring that back. Got the art attack. We've got the spotlight and the toy show. Do you know what I mean? It's. I tried to not just do the same thing. We'll rotate them as best we can. And at this point, I think I was looking at the thumbnail because I've got it all saved on Canva. I've got about 15 different flavors of show that we can flip and do whenever we want, I guess. So yeah, I like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. And the monetization video has been, I think, honestly, in terms of like comedic timing and editing, I think that was one of your strongest. Like, I absolutely love that one. It's funny. Unfortunate that you had to make it, but it was it was a good one. And so this isn't a question, but Fuzzy wrote into us and he wanted me to read this out. Peter, not a question, but more a thank you from myself and the rest of your followers. You've been fantastic ever since the first live show, and your warmth, kindness, and unselfishness is admired by all. Everyone should try and be more like Peter. Thanks for all the great entertainment. Keep it up. Love your work, Fuzzy.
Yep.
And I think that absolutely captures exactly how everybody kind of feels about you, Peter, about kind of being around you. You are such a positive person. Certainly the best thing about me doing YouTube has been meeting you and having you in my life now. And I think, if anyone doesn't feel that way, I think they're a bit of an idiot. So yeah, absolutely, Fuzzy. I think you absolutely nailed it there.
I've told Peter this in the past. Meeting him just has been one of the highlights of my. Before it was the highlights of my YouTube life, but now it's just a highlight of my life. You're such a good person, and everybody you've introduced me to, everybody over there, I appreciate all of you also. It's been awesome just hanging out with you. Like I said, when we go on YouTube, just talking in the background before we do our actual videos, just catching up with you, talking a little bit about our families. It's been awesome knowing you and James also, and everybody else.
And James also, don't forget.
No. Thank you.
You bring all these people together, like everybody in the chat who watches our videos are all like incredible, and we appreciate it. But like you're the one that I've kind of brought a lot of them over because everybody loves you, and loves watching you, and yeah, it's great. Can
make us bubble.
Yeah, I can see your eyes swelling a little bit, so we'll move on before we all get embarrassed. Advice, Peter, any kind of advice that you'd like to kind of give just in general in life or in YouTube or
it's cliche. It is absolutely cliche, and I know I'm not always doing it myself, but just be kinder to people. I know Andy's talked about this before and things like that. Don't rush to judge people. I've touched on it a little bit earlier tonight, that I've got lots going on in my life that perhaps I don't talk about. And I have no doubt everybody else has got the same pressures going on in their lives, issues going on in their lives. Just because we don't sing about it and say, kind of, look at me, doesn't mean that it's not happening to you. So just bear in mind that, the person you're talking to might be having a shit day or might have something horrendous going on. And just try and remember that you don't always see what's happening in people's lives. So perhaps just try and be a little bit kinder to people would be my only kind of general advice.
Absolutely. 100% I agree. Like everybody's human and we all have struggles, So everybody's kind of hearing Fuzzy well said. You're hearing lots of love coming in. It's just beautiful to see. So yeah.
Yep. Well deserved.
I'm trying to think what else. Channel. I can't remember what is this supposed to be at the very beginning, was it? Or is
No. This is
what you got coming
this
up
is
on your channel, is it? Yeah. Okay.
everything. No.
Do you have
Yeah. So on my channel, I've got my usual toy video and comic book video a week, a day, whenever. I've got a live show this Saturday night. So we'll be doing Saturday Night Live. I'm guesting over on Reviews with Rich on Tuesday night at 9 o'clock. I'm guesting on JP Venom's channel at 8 o'clock, where we're doing a review of Vader Down. That's going to be interesting. Thursday night, I'm going to be over on the Killer Comic Show again. So reviewing Transformers. So looking forward to that. And excitedly, well, before we move on to the next bit, because James can talk about that, can I just say a massive thank you for, I do get emotional, so I'm trying to not, but thank you so much, Fuzzy, and everybody else that's chipped in there in the comments stuff. That really does mean more to us now than you can ever imagine. So thank you. I do appreciate that.
Yeah, we have a couple of more comments before we go to the last slide, I believe. Treat everybody to Luke. Great. Treat everyone like today is their birthday. Be nice to each other. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And we have Perpetual Comics. Peters radiates kindness, always willing to lend a helping hand to those in need. He possesses empathy that transcends boundaries, showing compassion and understanding to people. Some man for one man.
Some man for one man. It's a UK expression.
Okay.
Some man
Thank
for
you,
one
Andy.
man.
Yeah.
Cool. So new channel.
Yeah.
I think you talk. You can talk a little. This is your kind of.
I cannot, man, because I'm completely confused still.
Okay, well, we got a little, because we've been, if anyone's been following us on Instagram, you know that we've been kind of hyping up a thing, and we'll just play a little video for you just on the show.
Everyone's got one good scare.
Here, one good scare. So this is our new YouTube channel that we are starting together. Now we're still going to be doing stuff on our own, particularly yourself. Me maybe last time. I barely do videos anyway. But this is just an additional kind of thing we're doing because we both love horror movies, and we kind of had talked about doing a horror show maybe, and kind of as we were talking about it, just kind of made more sense to kind of spin it off into its own thing. So this is one good scare. It is on YouTube. I'm going to comment from the channel in the comments just so everybody can click on it and have a look. We're starting on Friday, I believe, at 9 o'clock.
Yeah, 9 o'clock.
Which I have the first off, big thank you to Kev from Kev Can Draw from the Nerd Herd for doing this logo for us, because it's like absolutely incredible. Like I kind of pitched to him like flashlights, Ash and Chucky, and like he came back with this and really just exceeded all expectations. So big thank you for that. Yeah, here's the thumb. So this is for the first live show, One Good Scare. So this will be on Friday. We'll be talking about the Nun 2 and Saw, and there's been some kind of horror news and a little bit of merchandise stuff that's been announced, so we can talk all about that. If the comments on my thing will work.
So yeah, we're really excited about this. Like James said, we did think, should we just incorporate this into our existing channels, but then we decided that it would be fun to start a new channel so we can keep the horror content kind of off with normal comic book and nerdy channels and put it onto this channel. And this is going to be a permanent channel, so not just for Halloween. Going to be a permanent thing. We're going to be doing live shows every other Friday where we'll look at whatever we've been talking about, what merch, what vids are out, all that kind of stuff. And then we're going to be doing horror movie reviews.
Yeah, so it's going to be called I'll Be Right Back. And it's kind of a retrospective on a horror movie. So our first one for appropriately for Friday the 13th is going to be the original Friday the 13th. We're going to kind of take a look at that, go through kind of how it was made and some of our favorite moments and stuff. Now, obviously, starting a new channel means we started at zero again, which I mean, like literally having it in YouTube Studio and just looking at seeing like 0, 4, 6. It's like, wow. It's like, I remember this. So we would really please just ask you if horror is your thing, if it's something that might interest you, to just go over and hit subscribe, and we'll see you on Friday for that. So that'd be really appreciated. So
please do just remember that the YouTube name is One Good Scare Show when you're searching for it.
It's at Ash One Good Scare Show. So if you click on that, that should bring you to the thing, or if you just type that into the search bar on YouTube.
Yeah.
To the channel for me not to subscribe to. Yeah, so one good scare show.
Yeah.
So that's more spooky shit. Well, yeah, I mean, it's just like sheer coincidence. A lot of people doing a lot of horror stuff, but we've been talking about this for a while, so you know, it's onwards and upwards. Peter really doesn't want to get on it. I am curious about, like, I mean, obviously, you know, we're starting off. It's you know, very far down the road problem, but like about like showing kind of gory scenes on YouTube. I know that's issues that other YouTubers have. Yeah, we'll get over it. But I'm looking forward to this. I'm really jazzed to be doing these videos. You know, so yeah, it's gonna.
And I'm over the. I mean, goes without saying, over the moon to be doing this with you, James. So looking forward to that. Efrain, just look at that nun there. That's who's in your closet tonight, waiting for you to go to bed.
I must admit, though, we have done scary videos before on Peter's channel where we talked about our favorite, you know, scary movies, and I've gotten more used to it. I have been watching little by little more scary movies, but when it comes to nuns and like exorcists, I go nope. You know, I just can't get into those. Oh man, you know. But I watched all the scare movies. You know, I enjoyed them. You know, so this is going to be great. You know, just something about scary movies though. It just doesn't float my boat, you know. But well, I'm going to be watching it for you guys, you know. But then a couple of days ago, I told the guys it was about 1:30 at night my time. I just happened to be on, and you guys are 8 hours difference. And Peter sent me a scary picture right before I was going to go to bed. I go, thanks a lot, you know.
That could be a new segment. Let's scare Efrain, and we can like send him different clips and things.
Well, I would imagine Efrain, you can take I'll be right back as an excuse to kind of watch some classic horror films. So like start with Friday the 13th, you know. The older stuff's not
yeah, you guys can have me on every now and then to scare the crap out of me, you know.
We'll see. Pretty good. Yeah, so this is our kind of new venture. I'm very I'm literally obsessing about this now over the last.
Oh, Connie's here. Hey guys, Connie's up there.
Connie, you got a bashing earlier. The cinema phone use came up again, you know. Yeah, so yeah, excited for this, Peter. I know you are as well.
Yeah,
so this
gonna be good.
Have a great time. Yeah, it's gonna be good. Good stuff. High hopes. I think that's all the slides, is it? This is here. Is this right here where it's supposed to be?
Yeah, I put it in there. Peter sent this, so this is just you know, advertisement for, so to speak, for his show. This is mine. You know, this is a lot of the people that he's had on, and anybody wants to be on Peter's channel, please reach out to him on Instagram. You know, this is a great show.
Yeah, we've got quite a few people who've messaged, so that's very, very cool. I'm really, really pleased that people are seeming to enjoy the show and wanting to be on it. But if you haven't sent us a message yet and you do want to take part, please do drop us a line. You haven't got to be a massive comic book collector. It's just anybody who collects anything and wants to talk about themselves a little bit. So yeah, please do go and check that out. Can I just say a massive thank you to everybody that's watched tonight, everybody in the chat. We had 30 odd people at one point, which is phenomenal. So thank you so much for that. And a huge thank you to James and to Efrain for doing this. This has been great. I've really enjoyed it. And a huge thank you for all those kind words. It really did.
Well, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it. You know, me and Efrain.
And now we have a template for your this is mine, so we're going to start doing it on our own channel.
You know? Also, I would just like to say, and that's your whack. So we'll see you next time.
Yeah. We'll just give you props at the beginning, you know. How's it hanging, YouTube?
Tremendous effort. Tremendous.
Peter, you're going to have to find your outro video because none of us know where.
So.
And Andy, this is a winner. I'm keeping this. I like that. Yeah. Right, guys, that is your whack. Thank you very much, everybody, and we'll catch you next time. Take care.